located right here, and so this is where there may be a tornado beginning to form. Maryville, this is going into your town closer to 621. Hopkins, that is right on the Missouri and the Iowa border. That's around 635, and then Bedford, that is in the state of Iowa, so it's out there. So Maryville, Hopkins, 621 for Maryville and 634 for Hopkins there. Again, tornado warning in effect for Nottoway County, also for Holt County. We'll zoom in on this storm and we'll try to get a find of where this rotation may be moving through. Also with this storm, I think we'll have some golf ball size hail or some ping pong ball size hail. Let's take a look at the velocity on this storm and dissect where this thing is at. All right, so right here, right north of Mound City. All right, so we found Mound City down there. This is it. We'll try to move in on some of these cities or some of these streets to try and get them to show up. We've got Omaha Road, Maitland down here. Again, this is across far northern Missouri and northwestern Missouri. There's Graham moving north of Graham. Zoom in on Skidmore in there as well. Belle Grove, you all underneath a tornado warning. Belle Grove, you're in this tornado warning until 6:30. Same thing for Maitland and Holt County going until 6:30 as well. We've been dealing with a lot of these thunderstorms that have been just moving out of Kansas and Iowa, and then when they get into Missouri, they haven't exactly been looking like they produce tornadoes. We've finally started to get that one developing now, and we'll also need to keep an eye on the south side of this storm closer to Oregon, Missouri. This one starting to hook around a little bit. That may have the potential to begin to produce a tornado. Also some hail with this. See if we can get any cities showing up. Not seeing anything show up, at least with that information there. But as we go through this, Oregon, you're just on the north side, or just on the south side of a very strong thunderstorm. We got Maitland, pardon me, let's zoom in a little bit more on that town. Yeah, Maitland probably dealing with some very heavy rainfall, maybe some hail going into Belle Grove as well. Belle Grove, you need to be getting into your tornado safe place right now. And we talked about Maryville, that storm arriving within the next 15 minutes for Maryville. This eventually moves into places like Sheridan across far northern Missouri, Parnell, Ravenwood, staying probably north of Conception Junction. We'll try to find the hail associated with this storm because this may be producing, again, some golf ball size hail. It looks like it had a streak right through Big Lake. That probably prompted the notion that it could be producing some golf ball size hail. Going through Skidmore as well. This is where the core of the hail may be moving through. So in addition to the tornado moving through Maryville around 6:20 to 6:25, the hail itself may be moving through closer to 6:30. That would be more likely on the north side of the storm here. Just checking in to see if there's any sort of indication of debris. That's a little bit too messy. Not really seeing anything strong associated with that right now. Well, I want to give you all an idea of just where exactly this storm is located. Now, Kansas City remains underneath a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. But the good thing is we really haven't seen much formation. I would expect it for us to see some thunderstorms develop right around here west of Kansas City by this point. Thankfully, nothing happening right now, and so I think our chances of severe weather are really getting lower by the hour. Sunset is still about 2 hours away. In fact, let's take a look and see if we can get an idea of what may be going on here in Kansas City. Have a lot of clouds off in the distance, kind of stormy, threatening skies, but there is nothing that is an imminent danger to us here in Kansas City. Let's go back now up to the north. We can track all of these thunderstorms as they move into Maryville. Let me double check the speed of this storm just to make sure that nothing has changed on this. Hail size ping pong ball northeast at 55 miles per hour. So not a change yet. Let's see if this one has a decent handle on the speed. It does not. All right, let's draw out a new cone here up to 55 miles per hour. This part of the storm would be producing the tornado. Let's get rid of some of this information. We'll zoom in a little bit further on this. It would be just south of Skidmore. That's where the potential tornado would be. Northeast again at 55 miles per hour. We'll take this thing all the way out if we can get it that far, which it may not even be able to go far out as that. It is not. So 6:20 to 6:25, I believe, for the arrival time for that tornado. Right now on top of Skidmore and moving likely just south of Skidmore as well. Let's turn on and see if we can get any more data from this thing trying to come in with the velocity, because it should be catching up pretty quickly. This is moving at 55 miles per hour. That means it's moving at a pretty good clip south of Skidmore. So it's probably right now south of Skidmore as we're speaking, moving between Skidmore and Maitland. So let's zoom in on some of these towns here. That looks like that is or some of these roads. It looks like that is Eagle Road, 315th Street, southeast of Skidmore, near Fairview Road, that is now east of Skidmore, moving further up at 290th Street, northeast of Skidmore, Fortune Road, Fairway Road, that's 280th Street, 280th Street north of Skidmore. And then probably moving south of Quitman. So Skidmore, you are the ones, especially on the south side, that need to be in your tornado safe place. Belle Grove, this will move probably just north of Belle Grove. And then Maryville, especially it looks like on the north side of Maryville, closer to Wilcox. You guys are the ones that are underneath the most imminent threat for this tornado. And then south of Burlington Junction as well, the chance for this possible tornado to move through there. It still looks like there's nothing confirmed. What we will notice is that if the National Weather Service can find evidence of this being confirmed, is this whole red polygon will start to flash a bunch, making it very obvious that there is a tornado on the ground. Going further off to the south, closer to Oregon, this looks like it has a decent sized amount of hail in it, but our radar may be misreading that a little bit. Sometimes when the hail is so large on storms nearby, it's a little bit tough to get a good handle on what's actually inside the storm. On top of New Point is definitely some heavy rainfall going toward Campbell Corner and into a White Cloud, eventually moving through there. If you're just joining us from across northwestern Missouri, maybe tuning in from Maryville and in Nottoway County, sometimes it takes 5 to 15 minutes for the tornado sirens to actually come on. You are underneath a tornado warning until 6:45. This storm looks to be arriving near Maryville within the next 15 minutes. So please get to your tornado safe place right now. I'm going to double check with the National Weather Service to see if we have anything updated. Looks like there's a new tornado warning now coming in on the south side. This is for Bates County, so we're going to go further down south now, as there was one that was just skimming our viewing area to the south. Looks like it is now just now in the viewing area. So Rich Hill, you guys are now underneath the imminent danger from this. In fact, we're picking up on some pretty good rotation. So Bates County underneath the tornado warning until 6:45. This storm is coming just in on the south side of Rich Hill. Let's take a look at the velocity on that. This is, it's closer to the radar, so we're able to get a decent little view or a better view of the storm. But when we see these little rotating cylinders here, that is a pretty good indication that there's something going on that's spinning around. Nothing really promising, which is good in terms of what we're seeing if there's debris associated with the storm, but this is definitely something that's very, very potent. Let me get the speed on this one in Bates County. This one I think has been moving a little bit slower. Yeah, moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So we'll try to get a track on this one, this new tornado warning. We're balancing 2 tornado warnings right now. First one up near Nottoway County and the other one down here in Bates County. So this one 40 miles per hour, very obvious where this thing is moving. It's moving off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Let's see if we can get it in this one. We're not. Let's take a bit of a wider view and go with a 40 miles per hour right near Rich Hill. Rich Hill, I would just encourage you to be in your tornado safe place right now. I know you may be technically just south of the storm, but tornadoes don't really move in straight lines. They like to wiggle around a little bit. This one gives us at Warsaw at 7:49, and Warsaw is way out of our area. So we're going to ignore that cone and just start to zoom in on some of these. Rich Hill, get to your tornado safe place. Carbon Center, get to your tornado safe place. Arthur in there as well. Looks like Papenville, you need to be getting ready to head to your tornado safe place. Indian Springs, all of you here across Bates County in Missouri, this tornado is making its way closer to your town. Arthur, Horton, looks like this is a town called Metz, just south of the storm. I would go ahead, if you live north of Metz, the city of Metz or possibly even the village of Metz, you need to be getting to your basement or an interior room in your home that does not have any windows to protect yourself from any sort of flying debris. All right, I want to give some perspective if you're just joining us from maybe Northwest Missouri or any parts of Kansas City. We are not seeing any thunderstorms in Kansas City. We are essentially being split by all this activity. We have a tornado warning to the south near Bates County, and we've been checking in on this tornado warning that is north of us that is impacting Atchison County, or pardon me, it's impacting Nottoway County. This one right near Maryville, Nottoway County. Your warning is in effect until 6:30, so that's about another 15 minutes or so. Let me check and see where this velocity signature is at. It is right on top of Skidmore, moving off to the northeast, headed toward Wilcox and headed toward Maryville to go along with that as well. If you guys wouldn't mind in the control room, take this full screen real quick. I'm going to create a new storm track so we can get Maryville, the latest timing on this, so I can be able to draw it out a little bit better. So I'm going to head back over to the pod, but keep this at full screen, and so we can just do a better job of giving the folks in Maryville a decent little heads up, because this one is moving at 55 miles per hour. And it is going to a populated area. Okay, so Atchison, okay, so Holton, Nottoway, we're good. Atchison County, you're no longer in this tornado warning, but Nottoway, you continue to be in it. Let's go at a 55 mile per hour pace here with this storm that is right on top of Skidmore at this point. So Skidmore or east of Skidmore, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Let's go at 55 miles per hour. This is going to give me some towns probably in Iowa that I don't need, but I need to get the Missouri counties first. Maryville at 6:31. I would say, yeah, closer to 6:25 for Maryville. That's a little bit too late. So 6:35 for Maryville. If you are the Northwest Missouri State University students watching us, it's important that you get to an interior room, to a hallway. Hopkins closer to 6:45. Grant City at 7 o'clock. For the chance of a possible or for the chance of a tornado warned storm moving through there as well. Good thing is, it's not seeing any indication that this may. Let me double check this warning. This may be a tornado warning has been moved. Yeah, Skidmore. Thank you very much. Okay, so yes, this is now a confirmed tornado north of Skidmore, right of this one. Let's see if we can get Skidmore to pop on the map. On a map here, there's Quitman, so it'll be just south of Quitman is where that is. So let me get a new track on that. This is going to still be moving at about 55 miles per hour. So if you're in the city of Maryville, please get to your tornado safe place right now, especially on the north side of Maryville. Pickering, get to your basement, an interior room, something without windows, because we're getting indication that this is a tornado that is moving off to the northeast now at 50 miles per hour. That's pretty fast, and it's not giving you all a ton of time to prepare. So a new track here with new times. That is a town that's in Iowa. So let me bring up some Missouri cities here in order to give our viewers the best information. Hopkins around 6:45. Maryville, this storm is essentially on top of you. I know you're not really showing up on any of our maps here or any of our arrival times, but you're in the tornado warning, especially on the north side of Maryville. Please get to your basement, an interior room without any windows. You need to protect yourself from any sort of flying debris that may be developing from this storm coming through. We talked about Hopkins, Bedford. Let's clear out some of these towns here, because this one has my attention the most right now, as it is a confirmed tornado. And let's see, I don't have a ton of this. Maybe some sort of indication of debris right here. Let's see if that matches up at all with where the rotation is. A little bit shaky on that, but we already know that there was a funnel cloud spotted with this. And so that's all the really indication that we will need to get people to take shelter from this. So on top of Wilcox, Belle Grove, north of Maryville, please get to your tornado safe place. Have to go back down south now, closer to Bates County and into Rich Hill and Butler. This storm, as you can see, has a nice little trail of producing tornadoes all the way from Chanute, Kansas, through Iola, and now north of Nevada. This storm right on top of Rich Hill. And let's see what the velocity is looking like on this one near Rich Hill. that is very tight. That is at least some very strong winds moving right through the town of Rich Hill and south of Rich Hill as well. Let's turn off this giant rotating cone here to get try to get a better look of that. Let's see if I can do that. If not, I'll have to take it another way. All right, let's turn that bad boy off, and let's just leave it on so it helps with some indication. But Rich Hill, north of Carbon Center, Papenville, Indian Springs, all of you are in the line to possibly see this tornado, and it's very strong winds moving in within this storm as well. Let me just give a refresher for everybody that may be joining me from Kansas City. We are still underneath a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. There are really no storms threatening Kansas City. These storms are for everybody north and south of us. But really important that we give these viewers some information, as we already have one tornado that may be on the ground headed toward Maryville, and another very strong indication of something trying to happen down there near Rich Hill. Watching us from Rich Hill, please be in your tornado safe place right now. I'm going to bring my attention now back up into northwest Missouri on this storm near Maryville, and maybe switch my radar sights here, because this does not look like we're getting a very good view of it. I don't think that gives me any better one either, but we'll just zoom in. Maryville, you all really the first ones in line, or the next ones in line in terms of populated cities to see this activity, to see this possible tornado. And this is again moving, I think, at about 50 miles per hour pretty quickly as well. Cameron, I'm going to have you, if we can pull up the source of Weather 3. Cameron, can you go ahead and just give people a recap of what the difference between a watch and a warning is? Because Kansas City is underneath a watch, but that's different than what some of these counties are underneath the warning. Actually, let's take up Weather 2, pardon me. The source is Weather 2 that Cameron may be able to use, and you can see all those different watches and warnings in effect there for Cameron.
Yeah, two very different things, a tornado watch and a tornado warning. We're going to have a full screen for you just to go over the difference between both of them. So let's go over the watch. That's to be prepared. Tornadoes being possible in and near the watch area. It's typically a large area, the watch area, covering numerous counties or even states. The warning, that means something's imminent. You need to take action. A tornado has been sighted or indicated by weather radar. There is imminent danger to life and property, and that's two of the warnings that we are following north and south of Kansas City. That means you need to find your safe space. You need to find that now if you can, just meaning that you need to take action. That's the difference between a watch and a warning. Watch meaning you need to be prepared. A watch meaning take action.
Thanks, Cameron. Yeah, and, we're just underneath a tornado watch here in Kansas City, but nothing too imminent for us locally. Let's go back to Weather 1 as we have storm spotters trying to follow this storm across northern Missouri here near Skidmore, right near Wilcox, near Belgrove and Maryville. This is a tornado warning for Nottoway County that goes until 6:30, so that's about another 5 minutes or so. We're pretty far away from the radar site, and so that makes it a little bit difficult to actually see the lower level part of the storm, and that's where the tornadoes are actually forming. And so we're going to get a decision here within the next 5 minutes whether or not to keep this. But we're working with weather spotters. The National Weather Service are working with weather spotters right now to see if this storm is still producing a tornado. So Maryville, before I go back down south, please get to your tornado safe place. Same thing near Wilcox. South of Wilcox, and then into Pickering across far northern Missouri. All right, back down now into Bates County, where this has had a very strong tornadic signature on it, and it still continues to look that way with a little hook on the south side of the storm, and our computer still indicating that this storm is rotating pretty well. Rich Hill, really in the core of this storm. Please get to your tornado safe place. If you are not, if you're watching me, if you're from east of Rich Hill, let's zoom in on some of these roads real quick. Southeast State Route B, you are right in line to get the impacts of this southwest route. Looks like that is 10,006. Papenville, north of Papenville, near Prairie City. This storm moving right north and moving probably north of Prairie City or very close to Prairie City to go along with that as well. So this just came out, looks like out of Sprague. Sprague, you're no longer underneath a threat for tornado. New Home, neither are you. You're no longer underneath a threat for a tornado. Hume, you're good. Rucker, you're also good as well. This tornado warning was extended further south to include places like Shell City, Rockville. You have been in this tornado warning for Bates County until 6:45, and this is Vernon County. This is a little bit closer to kind of the Springfield, Missouri viewing area for the weather service down there. All right, so Rich Hill, zoom in on this one more time, just try and get a few more towns on this. I'm seeing, thankfully, some rural areas, but nonetheless, still towns like Rich Hill, Papenville, a few kind of north and south running cities, or a few north and south running towns. Southwest, yeah, we talked about Southwest, 10,006. East Allen Road, there's Carbon Center. Carbon Center, the storm would be just north of you. But if you're living north of East Allen Road, that is where the possible tornado is located right now. Let's turn on and see if there's any debris associated with this storm. If it's going to be there, it's going to be just off to the east of Rich Hill. Let's see what we have. Get this product to turn on for me. That looks like that may be just inflow or air essentially going into the storm. That's a little bit displaced from where the tornado may be. Yeah, I don't know. That is very close. It is very close to where the velocity is at with that storm as well. So we'll wait for the National Weather Service to make a determination on that, but it's getting very close to look like that may be a tornado that has just moved through Rich Hill. All right, north of that, Butler into Adrian, really heavy rainfall, probably some hail to go along with that as well. This is going toward Peru, Missouri, and then eventually into Spruce. Some very big hail. Looks like it fell down near Mapleton, and that would be on the Kansas side there. Let's go further back up north now to our storm that was moving right through Maryville. This looks like it continues to have a trail of hail with it that is just north and west of Maryville. Let's find out the signature, the velocity signature on this to see where it's currently located with this storm. It is not a very good scan with that. Let's look at the last 15 minutes to try and get some indication. It is now just north of Maryville. That would be my guess. This little area right near Wilcox, that would be the best chance for a tornado. So Wilcox, get to your tornado safe place. This is headed toward Pickering. But Pickering not in the tornado warning yet. That goes until 6:30. Let's see if I just got a new message from the National Weather Service. All right, funnel cloud was reported west of Maryville, but nothing on the ground. Tornado in southern Bates County from the Rich Hill Fire Department. That makes a lot of sense. So what we were seeing there probably was a tornado on the ground that was just moving through Rich Hill. So let's see, we probably will get some sort of update from that. Yes, getting confirmation that there was a funnel, was not on the ground, but it is